I want to thank you all for joining us, for logging into our Let's Talk call. We do this every Tuesday night to serve you guys, to share hope and health, and hopefully inspire you to keep chasing your dreams. No pun intended there, but just really focusing in on long-term health and understanding the value of what you are creating in your life. It's so much more than just a number on a scale. It is so much greater. And so tonight, what we're going to be talking about, we're going to have a couple people sharing. Tonight, we're going to be talking about really balancing your blood sugars and the value that has on your health, as well as we're going to have some stories. I asked a coach to share her story of health and what getting healthy did for when they started to balance their blood sugars out, what healthy did for getting healthy for herself did, and how that rippled out into her entire family. And so get your tissues ready, because I'm not going to lie to you. It's a pretty touchy story, not touchy. Yeah, it is touching story. So first we're going to start off with Andrea Rouget, who is going to share just a little bit tonight, and I'm going to actually show you guys Andrea's photo. I really did make a PowerPoint. Andrea, you should be able to take yourself off mute.
Hello.
And go ahead and share your story.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for having me on, Gina. I always love talking on here. And I am, by trade, I'm a registered dietitian. And so my background is in nutrition and public health. And I am in love with what this program does for my clients. When I was in the clinic, I was working with patients. I was only able to see them, maybe once a month, because that's what insurance was allowing. And, when people would come back a month later after we'd set a plan and a goal and all this stuff, I would be thrilled if they had lost like 1 or 2 pounds. Like that was a huge celebration. With our program, I'm helping people lose 100 pounds if that's their goal. So I just love what this does, along with the habits. And, like Gina said, this is so much more than just a number on the scale. So I wanted to kind of help you guys understand, what balancing blood sugar, or blood glucose, which is like more of a scientific term, but they're interchangeable, kind of what that means for your overall health. So quick little biology lesson, okay? And our bodies are amazing, like simply amazing, all of the things that they do and the science behind everything. So glucose in our bodies, in our blood, is affected by our diet. And meaning, the 3 big food groups that really affect our blood sugar is grains, straight up carbs, right? Fruits and dairy. And so those are the ones that are gonna make your blood sugar go up or down depending on what you're eating that day. So for just like a little visual, say that this is your baseline right here, where your body is feeling very satisfied. This is where, like, if we were to just have like this constant drip of nutrition following us around all day, we'd be right here. We'd have all the energy we need to do everything. We wouldn't have too much. We wouldn't have too little. It'd be perfect. Okay. But in the real world, that's not how it works, right? We eat meals and then we don't, and we fast through the night and all that stuff. So anyways, this is your kind of baseline where you want to be. When you eat a meal, okay, you eat a meal, your blood sugar goes up because the blood sugar is being digested, right? And it's entering your bloodstream so that, whatever you ate is going up. So then insulin, which is a hormone from your pancreas, comes up and brings that back down. That's what insulin's job is. It's like amazing. It has this like automatic regulatory system to bring that blood sugar back down so that you can be closer to this baseline. So now, if you happen to have a high sugar meal or a high carb meal, or, and I'll talk about that a little bit, that not all carbs are the same. But if you have like, let's say you go to McDonald's or something and you have a burger and fries and a Coke, okay? That's a lot of sugar right there. I'm sure no one on this call has ever had that, right? I have. But anyway, so it's going to go way up high, right? It's a high load. So it's going up high. Your insulin comes and it kind of overcompensates because it's such a big one, and it pulls it down really fast. So fast that it's going below the dip. And when you're below, that's when you're feeling hungry. That's when you're craving carbs again, all of a sudden. This happens quick, it's like within an hour or so, it's up and then it's crashing down. And in that crash, in that below area is where you're feeling like your body is just sending you these signals like, okay, I need more sugar to bring it back up to the baseline. So you can see how it starts this cycle of cravings, and sugar addiction is real. It is. It's not a fake thing. It's like an actual real thing. And it's partially because of this insulin system here. So now that's and that's okay. Like that's what it's designed to do. So if you eat a high amount of sugar, that's exactly what it's meant to do, right? Is bring it back down, the insulin. Now, if you live up there all the time, you have this constant insulin, you have this constant wave going up and down and up and down. And that can be really hard on your system. It can cause stress. And so we don't want to be doing those big high ones all the time. We want to be a little closer, right, to that baseline. Now, if you have type 1 diabetes, there's two types of diabetes. If you have type 1 diabetes, your pancreas does not work properly and you don't produce insulin. And so you will need a synthetic insulin to help with that. And, doctors have that under control. And we also work with them to keep it closer to the baseline so they don't need to inject themselves with so much insulin. If you have type 2 diabetes, it's not that your pancreas isn't working. It's that you've done this so much and lived up here in the high blood sugar zone that your body is getting kind of resistant to it and is living up there normally, causing a lot of stress, and it's not being absorbed. So the insulin doesn't work as well to quickly bring it back down. So it just takes it way longer to come back down. So anyway, that's like probably more information than you need to know, especially if you don't have diabetes. But I wanted to give you kind of that warning too, that if you are always up and down, it can lead to diabetes if you have that in your family or you're predisposed to it. So, the other thing about that too is when you are constantly going up and the insulin's coming back down, and then you go in that dip right there, and you do have carbs to bring it back up, you're constantly in fat storage mode, because that's what the insulin does. When it clears your bloodstream of the sugar, it's storing the sugar away either in your muscle or your fat cells, mostly your fat cells. And so that's, so you're going straight to fat storage if you're doing that all the time. If you're not using that fuel, it's being stored as fat, and insulin kind of helps, get that where it needs to go. So it's really important to stay near that baseline as much as you can. Now, let's talk about stress too, because stress in your life, we get in this fight or flight. That's our kind of lizard brain, back in the old days when we had to run or fight for our food or for whatever, from danger. So when you have this fight or flight response, your cortisol levels go up, and cortisol is actually like, oh, she's going to fight or flight, so she needs more fuel in her body. So I'm going to release more glucose back into the body. And so then you need the insulin response. And so stress also can raise blood sugar. And we know that people with diabetes or who have trouble with their insulin levels anyway, and their blood sugar levels anyway, it can be harder for them to reduce. So stress management is another piece of this, which is why I love this program, because it's not all about the weight. It's about habits and stress reduction and getting the mind healthy. So other effects of, doing this up and down is it's not just insulin and cortisol that are raising this blood sugar up and down. There's a lot of other hormones involved. It's very complex. But some of those being estrogen, some of those being testosterone, adrenaline, the cortisol. So when you are constantly up and down, your hormones can also be following up and down. And we know that that causes lots of problems in different ways. PCOS, many different metabolic diseases can be kind of derived from that too. And so I just wanted to kind of put that out there as a piece of another reason why it's great to stay as close as possible to this baseline, right? So luckily, there are lots of ways we can do that. One is eating 6 times a day, which all of our programs, whether you're on Nursing Moms or you're on maintenance or you're on 5-in-1, our programs are keeping you at this baseline because you're eating 6 small meals a day at these intervals throughout the day. And so you're not having this huge jump, even after the lean and green meal, which is a big meal, right? But it's not a lot of carbs, or it's not the bad kind of carbs. You're still staying right here by this baseline. And that's why we feel so satisfied, even for any of our programs. Even if you're not in fat burn, you are feeling satisfied for the most part, because you're not dipping way below. You're not having these highs and these lows. So I love that about the program too, outside of the weight loss. Also, when you're up and down a lot and these hormones are reacting, it can harden your arteries from stress and cortisol and adrenaline, and just overall stress. And so we don't want that, because that's heart disease, right? So hardening of the arteries is something else that can kind of come along with that. And I'm not saying this to scare you at all, but it is just, great to know that it's up, it's up and down, and we're gonna work on that all through the program with your health coach. And when I say that not all carbs are the same, I just want you to think of, like a slice of white bread, for example, and a slice of whole grain bread. Okay. Now, the white bread has been highly processed because it's taken off the shell of the grain. It's taken out some of the protein and healthy fat of the grain, and it's just left the starch, just left the carbs. And so it makes this like beautiful white bread, right? I mean, it makes pastries, and I'm sorry, probably triggering words here, but right, that's why they made it, because they knew it made good bread. Now, if it's whole grain bread, where you're grinding up all of the shell, all of the protein, everything that was meant to be in that little grain, you're getting the fiber, you're getting the nutrition, the vitamins and minerals that were in there. And these are not the same. They might have the same amount of carbs, but this one's got vitamins, minerals, and it's a lower glycemic index than the white bread is. And so, or a banana versus a brownie, right? But they might have the same amount of carbs. They actually do, which is crazy. But a banana, we know, has like the potassium and the nutrients and all these good things and fiber that we need. And the brownie, unless it's an Optavia brownie, the brownie is just sugar, right? And so there is a difference. So as if you are getting to transition, or as you're thinking about what that's going to look like for you, you'll learn more about whole foods and about the glycemic index, and kind of how not all carbs are the same, and you can kind of choose what your meals, what your food is going to look like going forward, so that you can stay here, not have those highs and lows, kind of be in this, this state, and not have the cravings, and just feel good with good energy, and feel, and you can, that's why this program works amazing for people who are trying to control their blood sugars, or I have multiple clients who have kicked those, metformin and blood sugar controlling medications. Just, they've kicked them out, cut them in half, or kicked them out, and I can't promise you that that's going to happen for you, but I can tell you that it helps. It helps a lot. So anyway, that was my super quick crash course on controlling blood sugar. Hope that was helpful.
Andrea, that was so perfect. And I hope you have enough time to even look in the chat. So many people mind blown. And I'm telling you guys, keep smart people around you. Amazing people who help you grow and learn. And a lot of people are asking, will we be able to access this? First of all, it's going live in all of your client support groups, so you can access it. So if someone is, if you're a client or a pre-client in one of those support groups, you can easily tag someone else who's in there. If you have a friend, a family member who your heart is crying out for, maybe Andrea like triggered something in you and you're like, oh my gosh, my sister, my aunt, my cousin, my whoever, then from here, we do record them and we put the recordings in your files on your client support pages. So you can easily access those, as well as you can ask your coach for a copy, because we do keep this in a copy of our system. So just know that there will be access, but there's more. Are you guys ready for more? I asked Melissa Johnson if she would share her story, and I'm warning you right now, get your tissues out. Melissa, go ahead, and I'm gonna have you come off mute.
Hi.
Hi there. I'm going to pop up your picture in just a second,
Okay.
But you go ahead, introduce yourself, share a little bit of your story, and I'm going to go grab my tissues too.
You're so funny. All right. Well, I am Melissa Johnson, as you said, and I started program back at the end of January. And my story is I lost 50 pounds in 18 weeks, which was pretty incredible. Oh, there's my pictures. I see them. So it was the picture right here that Gina is showing, that is day one of my journey. And I can remember totally feeling sad and depressed and lost and ready for a change. So I had been watching a girlfriend on Facebook, just like a lot of us have, and reached out to her. And I said, hey, what are you doing? I'm really ready. I need a program to follow, because I had done a lot of programs before, and I knew I could follow a program, and I was absolutely ready. So I didn't know, though, everything that was going to happen. I lost that weight super, super fast, and my journey inspired so many people. So that's kind of what I'm excited. Andrea just totally schooled me. I appreciate that so much, Andrea. Thank you so much for sharing. I thought I knew a lot, and you just taught me some more. So it's funny. I live in a house. Obviously, I'm married with my husband, and he is a diabetic. And my mom, so my husband had no interest in program. I started all by myself with his support. Of course, he supports me in anything that I do, but he really wasn't interested in program. And my mom actually decided to start program early on with me. So that was part of how I began coaching, was early on. She joined and lost about 30, 35 pounds. And her insulin levels, her A1C levels went from a 12.4 to like a 7, which was amazing, because my mom was actually a candidate. She wanted to have knee surgery, but the doctors did not and wouldn't allow her for the recovery phase. They were worried about how high her A1C was for recovery, so they didn't want to do that. So she lost her weight, her A1C levels came down. She was now a candidate for surgery. My husband was like, his ears were starting to perk, and he was like really interested in her results for her diabetes. So he started program with me on week 16. And you guys, I'm so proud of my husband. It was one of my dreams and prayers when I started program, that I literally just wanted to educate myself enough so that I could teach myself how to feed my husband properly, how to cook him dinners correctly. And he eventually started joining. And you guys, it's been about, I think it's week 18. He is off all of his blood pressure medications. His A1C, you guys, in 3 months went from a 12.6 to a 5.6, which a 5.7 is pre-diabetic. So that's amazing to me. His health is better. But I got to tell you something else about this program. The courage, it takes courage to start working on yourself. But when you actually do that, what happens is amazing. So my mom's diabetes is one story. My husband's, there's tons of other stories. But I think this is the part where Gina told you to get your tissues. A couple weeks ago, my mom called me, and thanked me and just wanted to know how much it meant to her, because she was diagnosed with breast cancer 2 weeks ago. And she said to me, if it wasn't for this program and it wasn't for her losing the weight, she would not have went into the doctors and had a lump that she had seen on her chest checked out. And by the grace of God, she did go in, and we're at stage 1 breast cancer, and she's getting all her treatments in line, and she's getting ready to go fight cancer and kick cancer's butt. But I was, I'm so passionate now about sharing this program with people. When I first started, it was just about me, about how I was feeling about me. It was a selfish thing. I don't want to say selfish, maybe that's not the right word, but I was finally ready to take care of me, because I take care of everybody. And by taking care of me, everybody's starting to take care of themselves, if that makes sense. So it's amazing. And I can't even tell you guys how important it is to share it out loud, to be proud of what you're doing. The program, it's scientifically proven to work, right? And to share it with everybody, because it's literally saved my mom's life, literally has saved her life. So it's amazing. It's amazing. So that's part of the journey. And I am blessed and honored to now be coaching too, which is another part of the journey, which I love as well. So yeah, Gina, it's kind of awesome.
Oh, Melissa, I love it. And I managed through it without crying this time.
Yay. Yay.
I know, right? Cheers.
I know. Cheers. Sorry, water.
Yep. Lots of water. So guys, I asked Melissa and I asked Andrea to share, one, because I want you to understand the value of what you're doing for your health. You maybe stumbled on this program thinking, I just want to look good in a pair of jeans. And you didn't realize the science that was behind what you're actually doing. Some of you maybe are like, I am not even hungry and she keeps making me eat. Maybe you were thinking, wow, I'm not having any cravings. I'm not having any, I'm all of a sudden having all this energy. And some of you aren't having energy. By the way, that isn't the only sign. It's just a sign for some people. But you're noticing differences. And I just want to tell you, now you kind of understand what's happening. So while you entered this program looking for a diet, you just found a way to transform your health for the long haul. And not only your health, but again, if those of you heard these stories, maybe you heard Melissa's story and you went, oh my gosh, I can relate to that. If only my spouse could get healthy. Well, maybe you just start cooking lean and greens for your entire family. See, for myself, I have 7 children. I actually have 8 because one of my kids is married now. And my goal, my dream when I started this program was, I don't want my kids when they're in their 30s and 40s and 50s to be struggling in their health the way I was struggling in my 30s. I wanted to set them up for a lifetime of health. And so maybe you just start with just healthy dinners for the family and you go from there. But what I want you to understand is that what you've stumbled into is a lifetime of change. But if you don't embrace this and understand, this is a long-term thing. Andrea just explained to you the value of controlling your blood sugars long-term. I can pretty much guarantee all of you on this call was like, whole grain bread? Let me wipe the saliva off my chin yes, it all comes back in moderation, okay? It all comes back. But I want you to know, you can't go back to your old way of life and not have your blood sugars go up and down. We've really got to focus in on, we are changing our health for the long run. Are you in it for the long run? So here's my I'm gonna share a little fun thing with you that you can do. In the month of September, we are doing a really fun contest. How many of you have loved doing like the face-to-face challenges? Back in the day, we used to be able to do the sugar shot challenges. Then this little bug got air and crawled all over sugar, and now we can't touch other people's sugar. Apparently that's a thing. But who loves doing those? Are you not loving the support that you're gaining? Me too. I'm loving watching clients have friends and family come around them. And so we thought, you know what better way to thank your coach than to just give a shout out. So in the month of September, if you shout out your coach on Facebook, you post it publicly and you tag your coach to it, you're going to get entered into a drawing, and we're going to be giving several $1,000s away. They'll be in $50 increments, just like the face-to-face or whatever, but you can use a face-to-face if you want. Maybe you're finally wearing a skirt, like at the beginning of this call, that you picked up and it was a size small and you're just thrilled about it, but giving a shout out. So I want to give you some examples of some shout outs that you can do for your coach. The key is you've got to tag your coach, okay, and put that out there for them. So let me share my screen. It's not going as fast as I'd like it to. Here we go. So here's some examples of some September shout outs. You could say, down blank amount of pounds, you fill in the blank. Man, I love this plan. Thank you to my coach for introducing me to it. You could literally put the words, or you could, like I said, share a picture. What about, wow, I can't believe I'm down blank amount of pounds since starting this blank amount of weeks ago. I have so much more energy and now I have no cravings. So you would put whatever you're experiencing that's a non-scale victory. Thank you to my coach for introducing me to this program. Another shout out that you could do, maybe you're brand new and you haven't even gotten your fuelings yet. I am ready, exclamation point. I'm starting on my new program to get healthy. I can't wait to have more energy, no cravings, and lose this excess weight. Thank you to my coach for introducing me to this program and helping so many right now. Okay, it can be simple. The key is you're gonna share either a scale victory or a non-scale victory. You're gonna thank your coach for introducing you to this plan and make sure that they're tagged to it, okay? And that's a shout out. That's just shouting out to the world. Thank you. I wanna appreciate the person who introduced me to this. Because aren't you guys so ever grateful? I know, Melissa, your entire family has been changed because someone was willing to thank their coach. Andrea wouldn't even be here right now. Well, I did kind of chase her down and her coach kind of chased her down, but that's because we love her to pieces. We're close friends. So I just want to encourage you guys, do a shout out. Do a shout out. You can do it once a week if you want. You can have up to 4 entries per month. And we're going to be giving away at the end of this month, we're going to be giving away, like I said, several $1,000s. So I would just encourage you guys, shout them out, baby. Shout them out. Give them love. Let them know how much you appreciate them for bringing this health, this change for you. It really, really is going to be so exciting. So are you guys ready to shout out your coach? Well, just post it on social. That's all you got to do. Make sure you post it on Facebook and tag your coach. We want to thank you guys for logging in tonight. Super excited to have you. And we're going to move over to our coach call. So those of you who are health coaches will log out. We'll log right back in. If you're thinking about coaching, feel free to hop on. Check us out. Be a wallflower for a few weeks. See what you think. But we are excited to go get trained up to take good care of you guys. All right. Thank you so much. We enjoyed spending time with you. Bye-bye.